Trying to see where I'm at. Dang, that's almost like 2 weeks. Okay, so
Mid-August.
this is what I'm gonna be calling it.
It was the peak of summer, and the sweltering sun was beating down on the residents of Trista. After returning from Heimdall, we were given a whopping 5-day summer vacation before the school year resumed. Turns out, Thor sticks to its military roots, only granting extended vacations to students over the New Year's holiday. However, nobles are allowed to visit home, ostensibly to give them time to become familiar with their family's holdings.
You cat.
And, as you might expect, that meant most students from classes 1 and 2 spent summer away from Trista. Meanwhile, classes 3 through 5 were stuck on campus, envying the nobility as they studied and trained as usual. The other members of Class 7 and I chose to stay in Trista as well, facing the heat with our fellow students.
Just notice. Where's the other two guys? 8:30 a.m. It's so hot. I'm dying in here. Sick of this heat already. Talking about it is just making me feel even hotter. Of course, that's kind of true. The Academy should install an orbital air conditioner. At least, then it'd be a little easier to cope. An orbital air conditioner? What is that? Well, it is this device that blows out cool air to help regulate a room temperature. Maybe it helps if you think of it as the opposite of a stove. Wow, that's some kind of rosary. I've heard of them, but aren't they supposed to be prohibitively expensive? Just say expensive. Only the most modern building seems able to afford them. Do you have one in your house? Well, there's one in the Renford Company Corporate HQ. Yeah. It'd be nice if my mother could spare one, for the academy she sits on the board of directors for. Seems a bit much to hope for. This is the military academy, so I doubt we can expect to be indulged quite that much. Still, a machine to help us keep cool in the summer. Whoever first invented that should get a medal. I admit, the summer heat here is more difficult to cope with than in Legram. But as long as I think of it as another part of my training, it doesn't bother me all that much. Berea gets similar summer heat waves, but there's usually a breeze blowing in from the canyons at this time of year. That does make the summer a bit easier to manage. Well, if you're living near a lake, yes. My hometown's up in the mountains, so it's pretty cool even around this time of year. I'm like, what? Actually, now that you mention it, I would have thought you three would go back home for the summer, being nobles and all. We were given permission, weren't we? If everyone else was going home, I would have considered it. But in the end, I decided against it. I mean, it wasn't all that long ago I got to see Elise. Maybe next year. I came here to train. Until I feel like I made significant progress, I have no intention of returning home. Some of you saw my father's mansion. Do you think I'll go back to a place like that willingly? I'd much rather stay here and take my chances with the heat stroke. You're really that uncomfortable at home, huh? Still hot as it is. There's a lot going on right now. I doubt all the people headed to that conference at the end of the month have much time to be worrying about the heat. You make a good point. We're talking about the West Zerma Trade Conference, right? If I'm calling it correctly. That's the one there's never been an international conference on that scale before. At least not in modern times. Mayor Dear Chorus, what? Who also happens to be the International Bank of Crossbell CEO, was the one who first proposed it. Oh, it's the mayor. Can't even pronounce his name. I've heard that Prince Oliver will be attending on the behalf of His Majesty the Emperor. And Chancellor Osborne is supposed to be attending too. Everyone's in silence. Seems crazy to think we meet them both just a few weeks ago. The Chancellor in particular was a pretty intimidating figure. Seems like a big scary monster. I heard he served in the Imperial Army before becoming a politician. Then 11 years ago, His Majesty entrusted him with the position of Chancellor. Supposedly a full 70% of the Imperial Army is under his jurisdiction. His real fame comes from establishing most of the nation's railway network centered on the Central. Though he also been responsible for annexing several smaller countries and independent state around Erebonia. I believe all took place without any bloodshed, though at least as far as I'm aware of. I wouldn't put too much stock in what he's selling. Military spending in this country has increased exponentially since he took up his position as Chancellor. And that only possible thanks to the tax revenue he glands from the people of Honda and those annexed nations. Well, he was the one who ordered the construction of the 2 railway guns. They got pointed at Crossbell too. I couldn't read that part. At one point, Erebonia was on the verge of a full-scale war with Calvard because of those things. Yeah, I heard that it was actually a liberal that proposed a way to avoid an armed conflict. They ended up signing a non-aggression pact, aka ceasefire. Yeah, though, as I'm sure you've all noticed, there's still quite a bit of tension between the two countries. I wouldn't be surprised if the issue reared its head again during the trade conference. Chancellor, been a really popular figure in the capital. Popular enough that he seems to have a group of terrorists after him. How do you even know it was supposed to be him? He does seem to be the Imperial Liberation Front's main target, doesn't he? You know, the Hammer of Judgment that's just top of the dictator and all that mumbo jumbo. Indeed, they seem to harbor a deep-seated grudge against him. Their anger seems a bit unusual in its intensity, didn't it? He seems like the type who makes a lot of enemy, especially with a face like that. Well, I'd rather not speak ill of my father's close ally, but Everyone signed again? Come to think of it, isn't the instructor awfully late today? Oh, it actually was supposed to be late. It's well past time for homeroom to start. True, it should have started about 10 minutes ago, actually. I swear that woman. She better not be sleeping off another hangover back at the dormitory. Wouldn't put it past her. I wish I could say there is no way our upstanding instructor would do that. But I wouldn't be surprised.
Excuse me. I'll have you know I did no such thing. Today.
Come on, concede. I got to go.
Instructor?
Do some stuff.
Good morning, instructor.
Morning, everyone! Anyway, I'll have you know I've got a good reason for being late today. And that reason is, we're going to be welcoming a new classmate today.
What?
A transfer student at this time of year?
Seriously?
All right, come on in.
Really just depends.
Righto.
Crow, my man.
Huh? Crow?
But isn't he a second-year student?
I'm Crow Armbrust. Starting today, I'll be joining you fine folks as a member of Class 7. It's gonna be pretty sweet, guys.
I don't
What?
care, man. My brother. He's here.
What? I mean, how?
Are you sure you want to know? It's a long tale fraught with the intrigue of school politics.
I don't think I'd put it quite like that. Back in his first year, he slacked off so much that he ended up failing a few of his classes.
Wait, that's
Then
so
he came crying
late.
to me in a panic, like, "Oh, help me, Instructor Sarah! They're not gonna let me graduate." So, as a special exception, he's going to be joining us for the next 3 months to pay for his laziness.
Oh my gosh, just 3 months.
You can't be serious.
That's an even more pathetic reason than I was bracing myself for.
I think you already know that Crow was one of the trial users for the ARCUS test they ran last year. So I thought he might be a good role model for you. In that sense, anyway. And don't forget, he'll also be joining us on our future field studies, too.
So that makes 10.
Nice. Looks like you saved me the trouble of having to explain it all.
It don't matter, man.
Anyway,
Crow,
let's
my
let the
man.
good times roll. Oh, and since we're all classmates now, no need for all that sweet talking you lay on the other second years, all right?
Oops.
Right.
Easier said than done, I fear.
If he was any more laid back, he'd be comatose.
Instructor, I can't help but notice you left the door open.
Wait, is there someone else too?
Me? Me?
Huh?
The little girl?
Are you serious?
Oh, I was hoping to catch you off guard. All right, come on in and say hello.
I thought you forgot I was out in the hall!
It is her. She's the actual transfer student.
What?
What?
You must be joking.
I would have. You must be trolling.
Hey, aren't you?
You're the girl we met in the Nord Highlands. Yuppers! Long time no see, guys. But I see a couple of you I
Reintroduce.
don't know, so guess I better introduce myself. I'm Milliam Orion. And this here is Eric Getlum, but we'll just call him Lammy for short.
Can you not just randomly bring him out?
What the hell is that? Holy crap!
Golly, Elliot.
It's that thing we saw at Ark's fort.
So this is that strange girl you met in the Nord Highlands.
Oh, and a little house rule before anything gets blown up. No bringing that thing out in the classroom. If he accidentally smashes a wall or blasts through the ceiling, I'm the one who's gonna get chewed out for it.
Boo! Fine.
Laughing my ass off.
Anyway. Nice to meet you guys.
Tell me you're kidding. Please?
I really wish I could.
Well, I can see we're in for some fun times these next 3 months.
Brutal. Three days. Yep, 3 days went by. At first, no one was sure what to make of Crow and the intelligence division agent Millie suddenly transferred to Class 7. But within a matter of days, it almost feels like they've been there all along. I'm sure none of you need to be reminded that it's none other than Emperor Decho who ended the World Alliance. But did you know that historical record tells us he had amazingly few soldiers under his command? Initially, his allies numbered only a few confidants and several warriors from the north. And while supporters rallied to him in each region, his rank still couldn't hope to compare to the other prince armies. Nonetheless, they continued to advance liberation region after region, and after half a year of bloody battles, Prince Dacho met perhaps his most well-known supporter. Millie, what? Would you happen to know the historical figure to whom I'm referring? Sharto! Liene Sandlot, also known as the Lance Maiden. I'm just noticing this crow in the back. My bad. Oh, right you are. Well done. Sandlot was the daughter of a count who ruled over a remote region. And accounts tells us she showed great martial skills from a young age. In particular, her skills with the lance was unparalleled. No record exists of her ever being bested in combat. Lance Maiden also had a group of mighty warriors under her command, who fought alongside her in battles. Perhaps you'd like to illuminate us to the names of the famous band reading, what? I don't know the lores. Group of mighty warriors led by the Lance Maiden. That's the I think the Eraser, also known as the Iron Knights. I'm guessing this was the correct answer. They were the band of knights said to be able to charge across battlefields like lightning, cutting down all in their path. Correct, you've done your homework. Dude, I don't even go to that library in this game. The Wandering Pants met the Lance Maiden one day during a prolonged conflict in a remote region of the country. After recognizing each other as reliable and trustworthy, they pledged to fight together under a united banner. The Lance Maiden and her knights bolstering his ring, Dacho's army swept through one region after another. In just a year, he was able to defeat the other prince and free the imperial capital, Heimdall. As an interesting footnote, the castle, the Ehrenritter, I don't even want to pronounce that name, used as their base of operation 250 years ago. so happens to be only a hop, skip, and a jump away from Laura's home in Lingram. Like, what? Indeed. It's also known as Longhorn's Castle? It's a beautiful old building saturated on the shores of Lake Ebil to the west of Lingram. Oh, you mentioned that before. Does anyone live there now? No, due to the dangerous terrain there, no one goes near it. These days, it exists simply as a relic of a bygone age. The Ursay family is responsible for the care and maintenance of the castle, though really only minimal work is done. Speaking of the Arsid house, wasn't one of your ancestors the second in command? Indeed. The land's maiden most trusted assistant and confidant, from what I understand. The Sandlot family line ended with the death of the last maiden. And it's partly because of that, the Ursay family mourn her death each year. I see. What a fascinating story. Lingram, huh? Never had a mission there, so I've never been able to go. Maybe I should stop by when I went. Maybe I should have stopped by when I went to Berhera. I can't even say his freaking house a while back. You think she at least tried to conceal the fact that she got sent all over, but I can't read right now. Sent all over the country on secret missions. I know, she totally just let it slip. But she was doing something in Berea too. Now I can say that word. Golly. Well, I suppose it's better than her being all distant and cagey around us. I got 1 AP. Okay, so tomorrow's a free day, which means that Wednesday you'll have your usual practical exam. You better all bring your A game. Oh, Millie and Crow, a few must have instructional material you guys are going to need as part of your Class 7 finally showed up. I'll hand that stuff off to you once we're done here. So I want you to come with me to the faculty lounge. Righto. Man, what a drag. Alright, homeroom's out for the day. Flee while you can. Marcus, if you do the honors. Yes, instructor. All rise. Bow. All silent. So, what do you think? Well, I don't think we have to be on our guard around her at least. Same, though I'd rather she kept that giant silver thing of her hidden. I don't think she's a bad girl. I was taking a nap in the courtyard yesterday, and she came and fell asleep next to me. Oh, came and fell asleep next to you. What does that have to do whether or not she's trustworthy? They look like a couple of kittens all curled up together. Their personality may be worlds apart, but they're both rather cat-like in their own way. She can't be more than 12 or 13. She's practically a child. Yeah, you're right. She's so chipper all the time that it's hard to really be cold towards her. Yeah, I don't think I could bring myself to spawn her. She got this natural charm, I think. Scorn. I don't know why you just did not say scorn her. But that as it may, her presence here reeks of blood and iron. If you take my meaning? What? Well, it certainly seems that way.
As such, I'm planning on granting you a bit of additional assistance. I should have it ready for you in a few weeks' time.
It's hard to believe a girl like that could be an agent of the intelligence division. But just going off what happened in Nord, there's not much that would make me doubt it now. And then there's that thing. What? Lemmy? Oh, yeah, I was talking about Lemmy. That's always with her. She calls it Lemmy. But aside from its name, we don't really know anything about it. It seems to be made from some strange material with both metallic and chromatic properties, hard and palpable. Agreed. It doesn't look like anything you could make, even with the most cutting-edge orbital technology. When I touched it, it felt really nice and cold. Wait, you actually touched it? I just paraphrased that. It hasn't escaped my notice that it seems strikingly similar to the combat shells we fight in our practical exams. I think it's safe to assume that they share some kind of common origin. Yeah. The instructor says she was forced to accept it, though in a sense, Millie was forced on us too. You're welcome to think what you will, but I don't trust her. Bruh. Either way, she's technically our classmate now, like it or not. It may be a little early to tell whether we could trust her as a friend, but we should be able to figure out pretty quickly whether we can count on her as a member of Class 7. Eustace goes, ah. Well, that's a logical way of breaking it down at least. You're right, it's still pretty early to make sweeping judgments. Knowing her background would be great, but what's really important is whether we can counter her in the fight. Agreed. As students of a military academy, it's probably the most important issue. We'll have to wait and see. Well, considering we're living in the same dormitory, it'd be good if we all got along. Yeah, I wouldn't want her to think we're trying to make her feel unwelcome either. And then there's Crow. What's he like, Reem? You seem like you get along with him pretty well. He my brother, man. I don't know if I put it quite like that. If I had to say, I describe him as a Caripius. What? Basically just gambling addict, way too prone to antidote for every hand. Basically, he's panhandling. Adios, help us. He sounds like the kind of miscreant one would be better off avoiding. You can count on him when the chips are down, though. He really helped me out last month when Elise went into the old schoolhouse. He's good in the fight. And pretty handy with his Arcus, too. Maybe we're worrying over nothing. Crow, man. Crow's my brother. You can't be talking to like that to her. Still, I'm not really sure how to connect with him, you know? Well, at least we're in separate dorms for the time being. We'll just have to see how things go. Got my free day. Oh yeah, they did put this right here. Alright everyone, so I'm about to call it a day. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.